Hi, I'm Leadership Development Coach Kathy Archer. Do you ever find yourself going around and around, hitting the same challenge again and again, coming back to it and wondering, why didn't I learn last time? Why am I doing this again? Or what did I do before that worked and why can't I figure out how to do that again? What happens is we don't spend a lot of time thinking in a planned, sort of slowed down, methodical way as leaders. What we tend to do is it kind of happens in the background as we're running around doing a lot of other things. What I want you to do is I want you to start to take time to consciously reflect, to really think about what's happened, what you've learned, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and what you're going to do about that, taking it forward. So there's some steps involved in reflective conscious thinking. First, schedule it. If you can book 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes or 15 minutes is even better, but schedule time. Make sure that you have time every day to stop and reflect. During that time, I want you to stop for a minute and I want you to sort of notice what's happened in your body, notice what happened during an incident, or now as you're thinking about that incident, perhaps your tummy gets tight, perhaps you get sweaty, or maybe you are reflecting on a conversation you had with somebody and you noticed that your voice got faster and it raised and you got anxious or your hands were clenched. But I want you to, in your reflective time, think back to or feel it again as you relive the incident or the thing that you want to reflect on. What happened in your body and what is that telling you? Perhaps it's telling you that you were nervous or that you were anxious or that you were angry, but notice that. So make some time, notice what happened or is happening in your body as you're thinking about an incident, and then write down some lessons about that. Okay, so what I learned was that when somebody gets in my space, I get anxious. Or what sort of I became more aware of is that when my boss uses this word, it pushes my buttons. Or that I got really emotional when somebody brought up that topic. Or I got really, really anxious when I started to look at dates about things that are coming up for me. Whatever it is, notice it. And then, take that lesson and say, what am I learning from that? What am I doing from that? Well, perhaps I'm learning that when my boss talks like that, or when those words are used, I need to just take a deep breath. And I'm going to work really hard at just breathing through that in the future. Or, when I breathed through it, I was able to respond rather than react. When I slowed down in thinking, I was able to go, okay, wait a minute. This isn't about me. This is about him. And I know that. And so I'm not going to get myself worked up. What are you going to do in the future? So what did I learn? What's that pointing me to as I go forward? And write that down. The act of writing down the lesson that you learned and where it's pointing you in the future helps you to not relive that cycle again and again. It helps you to change things in the future. Reflective time for ourselves is something most leaders don't do, but it's really, really key for you to learn and move forward and become the best leader you can be. So schedule time in for reflection for yourself. Notice what's happening in your body. Write down your lesson and what that's pointing to you in the future. And when you do, you'll find that you're not going to hit your head against that same wall again and again and again. You're going to be moving forward and growing and developing in your leadership. Women with Grit, leading with courage and confidence. This is a 6-month program that starts again in October, so make sure you click the link to get all the details, especially if you are a woman who is eager to strengthen your leadership as well as find more balance in your life.